An interesting trip so far, right?
Absolutely.
The president going to a country not known for its human rights record and saying, we're not here to lecture you, basically. You can do anything you want.
Significant shift in foreign policy for a president. And, you know, as you can imagine, sort of the human rights organizations are really just hand-wringing about this and have. Because, you know, there's not a lot of leverage that the United States has over countries with horrifying human rights records. But interestingly, arms sales is one of them. And Donald Trump went to Saudi Arabia, and his big announcement to the Saudis was, hey, we are going to allow this arms sale that the Obama administration had stopped out of a deep concern about how these weapons were being used in the Saudis' war with Yemen. And it's a war. It's a war that continues. Nothing has changed in the Saudi behavior, but what has changed is our policy and our the United States is no longer concerned with that and is not going to hold up the sale, instead heralding it instead, which has the Democrats on the Hill going bonkers.
Well, the other thing that has changed is Donald Trump's attitude toward Muslims and toward Islam. Right?
Yeah,
I mean,
that certainly has changed.
Islam,
on the flight over, I'm sure that flight back it'll change again.
Good point. But he went from Islam hates us as a candidate to Islam is a beautiful religion.
Yeah.
Which he says in front of these leaders from 50 Muslim countries yesterday.
Yeah, it's, you get to pick your Donald Trump. I just wish that I could have like a doll that you would pull like a string from the back and it just says something different every time. I mean, he does not. I mean, his lack of consistency on all matters continues. And, it's the same thing with the Chinese. He was railing against the Chinese until he met President Xi, and all of a sudden they're, amazing and tremendous.
And remember that big, beautiful chocolate cake. MSNBC went back and got some of the great clips that we remember from the campaign.
Okay.
And the one that we've been enjoying this morning so much is, so here he is in Saudi Arabia praising the Saudis as our partners and our friends. That's not what he said back not that long ago, in February 2016.
You will find out who really knocked down the World Trade Center because they have papers in there that are very secret. You may find it's the Saudis.
Oh, Jesus.
I mean,
yeah.
Bin Laden was a Saudi resident, so,
Obviously, he's a pretty smart cookie.
Yeah, well, that's right. And of course, he has signed twice an executive order to ban all Muslims from coming to this country.
Well,
so why do they just accept this and look the other way and think that now they don't care what he said in the past? It seems. They really gave him the royal treatment.
They did, and I think one has to separate the royal treatment from there's a lot going on here. I mean, this is his first foreign trip, and I think that the Saudi leaders were quite attuned to what Trump cares about and what fluffs up his ego, and he clearly wants to see his face on the side of the hotel that he's staying on, which is what they did. They projected a giant image of his face on the hotel. I mean, so I think a lot of people would. It looked like
a Las Vegas fight. They had like Trump's photo on one side, and they had the other guy on the other, and then they had the handshake in the middle.
Yeah,
like the only thing that was missing was boxing gloves.
Yeah.
Wait, I saw one billboard in Riyadh that had a Donald Trump tweet on it. It was sort of an electronic billboard, and they were putting his tweets up on the billboard so people. And when the motorcade goes by, he sees his tweet.
And they loved, actually, the Saudi culture sort of loves and celebrates Twitter. It's one of the most tweeting countries.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
no kidding.
It's really
I didn't know that.
And somebody,
he's like a superstar there.
Yeah. So they're playing. I mean, I think what's going on with that royal treatment is playing to his ego and understanding that this is what we need to do because they do want something from us. In the immediate term, they want this arms deal, and they're gonna get it. Obama said, we're not going to let you have cluster bombs because those are, those weapons should not be used, even though oddly the United States does produce them. But putting that aside for a second, Obama's posture was quite different, and they are really happy to be having this sort of open avenue of new arms. So, why not?
Yeah, right.
Throw up the, Also, the other piece of the Saudi culture that I found so interesting, just reading all the coverage, is that one of the big issues in Saudi Arabia is boredom. Like, the people who live there are bored, and so they do have a whole ministry to just make things more interesting. So, to them, there's a sense of like, hey, like, why not make this into the circus, just like you led? I mean, that's what this is. It's a circus.
Yeah, it is. I forget over the weekend, I'm sure you saw the same piece. Somebody wrote that there was almost like a memo circulating among the countries that Donald Trump is coming to visit. Keep it short, keep it, yeah, right.
Very short.
Very short.
Pictures. Congratulate him on his win.
Congratulate him on his win. All the good things.
Compare him to Obama.
Yeah, right. Better than all of that. And that was they all got the memo. This is how to make Donald Trump happy.
Right.
Yeah.
And
put his picture everywhere. And
but people are, people in all areas comply to these
keep
various.
It simple.
Yeah. Yeah.